Hi, my name is Tara, and this is the Yoga Mind Warrior Body Studio. And today I wanted to share with you some more of my recovery techniques that I think might be helpful for you. It's really helpful, especially for high intensity kettlebell training, as well as sort of any high intensity training. The first thing that I wanted to talk to you about today was actually the psoas muscle. It's a long, thin muscle, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, that actually attaches at the lumbar spine, and then and it's the deep portion of the lumbar spine, so not directly on the back, but actually interior. And then it comes and it wraps around, it becomes more superficial as it comes to the hips, and then attaches in the inner thigh. There's a knob on the bone there, and that's where it's attaching to. So it's a quite important muscle that can affect everything from back pain to tight hips to the legs actually rotating incorrectly. So it's really important that you A, have an awareness of your psoas and its location, and B, know how to release it when it becomes too tight and restricting your movement. So first off, I want to start talking about how to get into the psoas. The easiest way is actually through the front of the body, through the belly, which can be really intense and kind of scary for some people. So when you go into this as a self-care technique, it's important to just come onto your back with your knees up. That way your belly is nice and soft. And just start off by going in the direction of your digestion. So that means you start sort of clockwise direction, just sort of softening the area up. This helps to release any tension, and it's basically also helps to move the organs out of the way. The organs can actually get tense too and block your ability to move deeper into the belly. So just circling around your belly button, nice and soft. And your knees, they can drop in on each other. That also helps to release the area around your sacrum. So just starting off nice and slow, making sure, of course, that you didn't eat too much before you start this. And then once you feel comfortable, you can go ahead and take your hand. You want to find your belly button. And then you're going to measure off sort of towards the pelvis, about 2 finger distance away from the belly button. So just dropping down. And then you'll want to measure the neck. So you're just going to come down the length of the body, the same distance as your neck, and 2 finger lengths down away from the belly button. So you're right there in the line of your abdomen. And then you're going to go ahead and you're just going to slowly take your fingertips in that space. There's a nice crease there between the obliques and then the center of the abs. And you just start dropping the fingertips down. Now, the first time you do this, you're not necessarily going to get all the way down to the belly into the psoas. But you're just going to start off, and then once you start that, you can bring your knees so that they're pointed back up towards the sky and their hips distance apart. And you're just going to slowly drop the fingers down, just going straight down to the floor beneath you. And again, moving slow. And then once you feel that you can't go any deeper, then you test it out. Then you make sure that you're on your psoas. And the easiest way is to keeping your fingertips there. Slowly lift the knee, yes, and then dropping it back down. And you'll know instantaneously, because it's really challenging to actually move the knee up and down when there's the load of your fingertips bringing the weight onto it. So it's really challenging. And you might want to just do that just a few times, just kind of creating a little bit of a pulsation. And this pulsation actually helps to release the tension in the psoas by putting it under load and then releasing, under load and then releasing. These are sending signals to the psoas, and it remembers how to let go if your psoas is too tight. It also, if you happen to have a very weak psoas, sends a signal to remind your body how to actually engage the psoas properly. So it's working 2 purposes, and that's what makes this pulsation work really intense and very valuable. And then once you feel you've done that, you can also move over to the next side and get into that area as well, using the same technique, measuring off, dropping down 2 finger lengths below the belly button on the line of the oblique and the abdomen center. And then the other thing that you can do is then work into more the iliac muscle, because the iliac crest here, iliac spine, the iliac muscle actually connects into the psoas. So a lot of times we know the psoas as the iliac psoas, and that's the lower portion of the psoas. It starts off just the psoas in the top portion, joins in with the iliac, and it's the iliac psoas that really connects at the inner thigh. So the way to get into that area is actually finding your hip bone, moving in, and you'll want to slide the fingertips into the bone itself. So I kind of make a path with the hand sliding in so that my fingertips of the other hand can move in more carefully. And again, if you're tight through here, you're going to feel it right away. If it doesn't hurt you, chances are you're not on it properly. If it doesn't zing, if you don't feel it. So once you find that, you can kind of create that same pulsation effect. Simply, sorry, this is really kind of intense for me. Simply dropping the knee out to the side and then moving it back in. Just nice and slow, working with the pulsation here, with the rotation of the knee out, and then moving it back in. You don't need to move fast, and you don't need to move dramatically. The smaller the movement, actually the more intense and the deeper you'll be able to go with this release for the psoas, for the iliac psoas. So just this small moving back and forth. And then you can gently release that, moving again nice and slow. And then finishing it off, you're just circling the hands on the belly. And there you have it. It's a quick little psoas release, iliac psoas release. Be careful when you do this. It can be really intense and move nice and slow. I can't emphasize that enough. I think I've said it like 20 times already. But please do move slow, move carefully. And hopefully this will help you, especially if you're finding that your hips and your low back are having some issues.